Most people discover Neville Goddard searching for manifestation techniques. They want affirmations, visualizations, or some secret mental exercise. But Neville was not teaching techniques. He was teaching a law of consciousness. This is where most people misunderstand his work. They focus on what to do instead of who to be. And because of this, they struggle. Neville was very clear. You do not manifest what you want. You manifest what you are conscious of being. The imagination is not a tool you use once a day. It is the creative power that is always active. Every assumption you accept as true is already an act of imagination. Most people imagine unconsciously. They imagine from fear. They imagine from lack. They imagine from effort. And then they wonder why reality reflects resistance. Neville explained that imagination creates reality when it is accepted as natural, not when it is forced, not when it is repeated with tension. This is why techniques fail for many people. They are done from the wrong state of consciousness. The state matters more than the method. Neville called this a state. A state is simply a way of being. It is an inner position you occupy. You are always in a state. There is no neutral state. A state determines what feels possible. A state determines what feels natural. And what feels natural hardens into fact. When people say manifestation does not work, what they really mean is that they never left their old state. They try to imagine abundance while still identifying as someone who lacks. They try to imagine love while still assuming rejection. Neville never said to fight your current reality. He never taught denial or suppression of facts. He said to withdraw attention from appearances. This is a subtle but crucial difference. Fighting reality gives it power. Resisting circumstances keeps them alive in consciousness. Attention is creative. Where attention rests, life grows. When you struggle against what you see, you reinforce the state that produced it. Neville taught that change begins inwardly, not by reaction, but by reorientation. Effort is a sign of resistance. Strain reveals inner conflict. Calm acceptance is a sign of alignment. Stillness indicates inner agreement. When the mind stops arguing with itself, the state begins to shift naturally. You do not change the world directly. You change the position from which you see it. And when the inner position changes, the outer reflection follows. This brings us to one of Neville's most misunderstood teachings, the state akin to sleep. Many believe this is a ritual, a precise technique that must be performed perfectly. But Neville described it as a natural condition, a condition everyone enters daily. It is the borderland between waking and sleeping, where effort dissolves and control relaxes. In this state, the body is deeply relaxed. Muscles soften. Breathing slows. The conscious mind loosens its grip. Logical resistance fades. Imagination becomes more receptive, more fluid, more believable. This is not hypnosis. This is receptivity. Neville emphasized this state because the subconscious is open here, not because it is magical, but because it is unguarded. In this quiet openness, impressions sink deeper. Feeling is the secret, but this phrase is often misunderstood. Feeling does not mean excitement. It does not mean emotional intensity. Strong emotion often signals effort. Effort signals doubt. Feeling means the sense of reality, the inner knowing that this is already so. It is the feeling you have about your own name, your own existence. There is no excitement there, only certainty. When an imaginal act feels ordinary, the subconscious accepts it. When it feels forced, the subconscious resists it. Neville taught that imagination must feel natural, not impressive. The simpler the imaginal act, the deeper it impresses. This is why calm scenes work better than dramatic ones. This is why ease matters more than detail. The subconscious mind does not reason, it does not compare, it does not analyze. It accepts impressions as facts. What you repeatedly feel as normal, it accepts as truth. What you emotionally charge with effort, it questions indirectly. Repetition without strain builds familiarity. Familiarity becomes belief. Belief hardens into experience. Neville often said, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled." He did not say, "Force it." He did not say, "Convince yourself." Assume means to accept inwardly. You accept something by relaxing into it, not by arguing with opposing thoughts. When resistance fades, acceptance emerges naturally. The subconscious responds to certainty, and certainty always feels calm. Urgency is a sign of doubt. Peace is a sign of acceptance. When the end is assumed, waiting disappears. Neville taught that you must live from the end, not watch for it. You live from the end psychologically, not emotionally. You begin to think from it, react from it, rest in it. You ask yourself quietly, who would I be if this were already true? And then you occupy that inner position. Reality reorganizes itself automatically because consciousness always externalizes. Time is not punishment. Time is the bridge. Self-concept determines what feels believable. It defines what your mind accepts without question. It shapes what feels possible and what feels unrealistic. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, success feels temporary. It feels fragile. It feels like something that could disappear at any moment. If you see yourself as chosen by chance, stability feels unsafe. Consistency feels suspicious. Ease feels unfamiliar. The mind rejects what does not match identity, even when desire is present. But when identity changes, experience follows. Not through effort, not through force, but through natural expression. Neville said, "Change your conception of yourself and you will change your world." This is not poetry. This is instruction. This is not positive thinking. This is identity alignment. Thoughts alone do not create. Belief alone does not create. What creates is agreement. Agreement between imagination and self-concept. When imagination and identity agree, reality has no resistance. The subconscious no longer filters the experience out. It allows it in. You are not manifesting to get something. You are manifesting because consciousness expresses itself. Expression is automatic. It does not require permission. Once this is understood, effort dissolves, control loosens, tension fades, chasing ends, proving ends, and what remains appears, not because you demanded it, but because it belongs. The law never fails. Only awareness deepens. Rest in the assumption, remain calm, and allow the unseen to become seen. Thank you for listening.